goal is to raise awareness, not just, hey, here's a tragic story, make sure you get checked. Awareness of what to do when you're in the situation. And we have one of those situations where I met a young man who battled testicular cancer, and he has that Rocky Balboa triumphant knock cancer in the face story, and I'm so proud to introduce to you a good friend of mine. His name is Anthony Boyer.
I'm here to share my story today. Something that no 26-year-old should have to tell, but I feel it's important to get it out there. In May 28th, 2015, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. It was something that I put off as a hockey injury for a couple months, and as it progressively got worse, I decided that something was actually wrong, more than just a hockey injury. I was diagnosed on the 28th. I had surgery on the 29th to remove the original tumor on my right testicle. After that, I had a CT scan, and they found that cancer had moved to my lymph nodes. It had moved to my lungs, and it had moved to my lymph nodes in my neck, so they decided that the next best thing to do was chemotherapy, because it was a non-sonoma cancer. I went through 9 weeks of chemotherapy, three-week cycles, each cycle beginning with a 7-day or 5-day-a-week, 7-hour session. Second week of each cycle was 1 hour a day, and the third was 1 hour a day as well, and then it would start all over, and that went on for 9 weeks. After I wrapped that all up, there was still some concern about 2 of the tumors in my lymph nodes in my abdomen, so I had the RPL&D surgery, where they removed the lymph nodes out of my lower abdomen. Have a 12-inch incision scar in my abdomen, but I'm proud to say on September 22nd, after my surgery, that I am cancer-free now. So I just think it's important that everybody should pay attention to that, because cancer knows no age. You can be 26 and have this happen to you, so get yourself checked.
Let's take a look at the second part of our 1-2 punch here. We've got another great inspiring story with my friend Marvin, who has also overcome this horrible disease of testicular cancer. Marvin, thank you so much, buddy.
It's a pleasure. I was diagnosed with testicular cancer on October 2nd of 2001, just a few months after graduating from college and marrying my wife. Needless to say, cancer diagnosis changes everything. I had surgery the day after on October 3rd, and as soon as I recovered, went through 3 weeks of radiation. The radiation was from my lymph nodes in my back, and the beam path affected my stomach and intestine, and made me extremely sick. It was like having the stomach flu for 3 weeks straight. But fortunately, I caught the cancer really early. It had not spread, and I was very lucky. I just had the one surgery, and then the radiation was more preventative, and that was 14 years ago now that I've been cancer-free. I have an 11-year-old son, which, praise God, they told me that after the cancer that I wouldn't have kids, but I defied the odds. I can't emphasize enough of how important it is to just be mindful of what your body's telling you. Do your checks. Catching it early is key. Like I said, I was extremely fortunate. The doctor told me that the tumor had probably only been there for a few weeks, maybe even just a few days when I found it. Had I waited, I know the prognosis would not have been as good, and the treatment would have been much longer. I was very fortunate in going through my treatment to have a supportive wife, supportive family. Cancer is something that you don't think about at 22 years old unless you're thinking about parents or grandparents, but it does affect young men, and for a lot of young men it's very difficult to go through. So I encourage everyone to be mindful, be aware, do your checks, and if you notice anything out of the ordinary, definitely see a doctor. It can make all the difference, and it can be life or death. Thank you.
Guys, it is so important that you understand and realize how much awareness we need to create. Thank you to Anthony and to Marvin for sharing your very, very personal and touching stories with us. When it comes to testicular cancer, there's over 8,000 cases a year, new cases, diagnosed in men. 380 men in the United States alone die a year from testicular cancer. We are all about raising awareness, and we need your help. So here's a few ways you can do that. One, share our stuff on social media. The Mostars, we are all over Facebook. Trust me, we're on Facebook if you're friends with us. Two, have a conversation with your grandpa, with your dad, with your brother, with your cousin, with your wife, anybody about what's going on and the risks that we face as men. Third, make a donation. So far, the Mostars have raised over $25,000, which was our original goal. Our new goal is now $30,000, and we need your help. From all 90 of us on the Mostars, thank you for paying attention and seeing what we're doing and following our campaign.